In his recent encyclical, Deus Caritas Est, Benedict puts it straight to us that the archetype of human love is the marriage relationship. The archetype of love full stop, including divine love, is the marriage relationship for us. And so one of the important things when you say it's a sacrament is that being a sign of God's love, a sign of being a complete gift. We talk about the marital relation, we use words like marital or nuptial, spousal. They all mean gift of self. They all mean that you give yourself completely to somebody else. One of the things there, I guess, is whether it's in marriage or whether it's in a gift of yourself in other ways, like in celibate life or in other forms of vocational work. Gift of self is how we define our own personalities, how we experience our personalities. In other words, sitting navel-gazing, sitting concentrating on who I am, gains me nothing and gains nobody else anything. It's only when I make a gift of myself to somebody else in some way that I give expression to who I am. So one of the characteristics of being a human being is that you express yourself as a person by being a gift to others, by giving to others. Otherwise there is no expression of personality. So it's a curious nature of the nature of our being that we only really come to express ourselves in gift of self to others. And the interesting thing is that that's exactly what God is. When you think about the Trinity and the persons of the Trinity, they are gift to the Trinity. They give to each other. So the Father and the Son give entirely to each other. And it's in that giving, that the expression of love, that God is love. And I guess that's the way in which we can talk about truth being a person. Truth being a person meaning the person of Christ. Because at the end of the day, using a kind of words of a popular song, all there is love. Because love is how we express ourselves, love is the way God is, love is what God expresses in being God. And so that's what makes marriage so important, is that it's the fullest way that we can express love for another person, is by that complete surrender to the other person, that complete gift of self to the other person. But that doesn't answer the question, why would you do it? All of you who raised your hands, why would you do it? You said you'd do it because it was a sacrament, but we've gone into that. But yeah.
Well, if you want children, which most people do, you figure that marriage is probably the best forum within which you can bring up kids.
Why would that be?
Oh, because you're making
lots of people doing it without you being married. That is having kids.
More and not though. Yeah. Well, it's because you made a public commitment to each other that you'll remain with each other, give or take, for the rest of your life.
Why not? We talk about a piece of paper. Well, one way of doing this would be to marry privately. No piece of paper, just a complete commitment to that other person. Why wouldn't that be just as much an expression of love for each other and a gift to each other? And
that could still be marriage. I mean, marriage in God's eyes, we don't know.
Yeah, but why not do it that way?
Because you need an economical, need something that's gonna, who's gonna get the house.
That's not a marriage contract. That's a prenuptial contract. Yeah.
Married publicly, and by that I suppose most people would think in the presence of family and friends, you're asking for their help to help you with that commitment and that expression of love, because I'm not married, but I dare say it's not an easy thing to continue with that at times. And so I think that one of the reasons to do it publicly and why people choose to have their family and friends around is not only to share the joy of the occasion, but also to ask those people to support them in that decision that they've made and that commitment that they're going to continue with.
Another way of putting the question is to say, why not make it public? That is, if you want to make a complete gift of yourself to another person, fact, or a mutual gift that you give to each other. And you want that to be a total, permanent and exclusive gift, which is what marriage is. Why wouldn't you make that public? Why?
Because if you loved another person, well, you love that person, not society. So why make that public? You know, if you're getting married, you love this particular person. I don't need the rest of the world to know. So.
The reason we're forgetting, you get the presents when you do it. When you have a big wedding, you get all the presents.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that the thing is most people when they marry, it's a hugely joyful occasion, and they want to share that with others. There's one other aspect about marriage that's really quite important, and that is that just like a person only expresses their personality by their gift to others, marriage only expresses itself as a union by being fruitful, by giving to others. And part of the gift that you give when you marry is that celebration of love, that you bring that joy to others of being a part of that celebration. But it's also in being married, you form a fundamental unit of the society and you give to the society through that relationship. And so it makes sense for that to be a publicly recognised event, because this is really important for the society. At the end of the day, the state has the parens patriae responsibility for children. It's responsible for children if nobody else takes up the responsibility. It's very much in the interest of children that parents and their relationships are recognised, so that provides a security for those children and the identity of those children. If you think about what happens when a child is conceived, the child is an expression of the parents, of their expression of love. That is, the child represents their unity. In the child you see the evidence of the celebration of love of the parents. So the child becomes an expression of that ongoing unity going forward. And it becomes important then for that child to be able to secure his or her identity in the relationship of the parents. So when you look at it from the point of view of a society's responsibility for children, it becomes very important then for the society to support and sustain and to recognise marriage relationships as a relationship that is fruitful in terms of producing children and supporting and nurturing children. And so when you think about having children outside of the marriage context, then you're doing something that's an injustice to children. You're denying them identity, you're denying them that relationship to both parents, and you're denying them the security of being nurtured in that relationship. Those are all things that the state has an interest in. So basically, marriage needs to be a public event because we as a community have a very strong interest in the circumstances when a couple get married, when they give to each other completely and form that bond and that unity that actually builds our society. So marriage is not just a private event, it's also a very public event. It's of huge public significance in terms of its role within the society. So why would you get married?
Celebration of love.
Question of love.
No, celebration of love.
Celebrating love. Are you talking just about the wedding day?
No, just
Yeah.
in terms of recognising and making like a public statement, and a word, like your word is a scripture as well. So
Yeah.
declaring your love with everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I guess it's a vocation of what your vocation for life is. It's to love God, I think. And how would you express that? Some people take the vocation of marriage, and some people take the religious life, some people take single life, and some people just choose marriage life because I think, well, they think that's the best for them to express God's love or to be a sign of God's love to the community.
So you're talking about marriage as a vocation to love, and recognising it's not the only vocation to love. Celibacy is the same, and there are other forms of giving of self in that way. Basically, I suppose the core there is the idea of giving of self, because that's what love means. Love means giving of yourself to another.